Hello once again, welcome back to the channel. Once again, I find myself out here under an absolutely brilliant night sky. Now, I'm doing something a little bit different in tonight's video. And what I'm going to be attempting to do is some longer focal length images. And so what I'm talking about is probably 50, maybe 85mm shots. Now, for any of you who have ever tried to shoot nightscape photography, you'll know that wide angle lenses are pretty easy. You know, 14, 16, 20mm, pretty easy because you can fit a lot of stuff into your frame. You start closing down to about 50mm or 75 or 85mm, it's really hard to frame up a subject. So I'm going to try and do that. So for that to work, I need the Milky Way down low on the horizon, and you can probably see it there behind me. It's laying down on the eastern horizon, rising up. Looks really, really good. There's also a bit of cloud down there, so I'm hoping that doesn't get in the way of proceedings here tonight. The other thing I may well do here is some focal length blends. Now, some of you will cringe when you hear that expression, focal length blending. What's that all about? Is that genuine? Is that a real photograph? Well, everything is real. It all takes a lot of effort to produce, I can tell you that. Anyway, as we go through, I'll try and explain what I'm doing. You know, when it comes to nightscape photography, there is an awful lot of expertise required, and there's an awful lot of artistic expression that I think we have the right to be able to put into our pictures. Anyway, enough talking. Let's have a look at what we're going to shoot here. All right, so here I am. I've got my 50mm lens fitted onto my Nikon. This is a Nikon Z6 Mark III, standard, not astro modified, but I will be getting the astro modified Z6 Mark II out later to shoot the sky. So I'm going to do tracked skies. And the reason I'm doing that is because of the longer focal lengths. It's far easier to shoot a tracked sky than on a tripod because of the shutter speed limitation. But this is 50mm f1.8 Nikon lens. Now you can see in the background, I've come back to a familiar location. Have a look down there. Hopefully you can see the silos behind me. Now, you might say, well, what are you doing back there? Well, the reason I'm back there is because when I'm doing some of these shots that are a little bit experimental, it's nice to go somewhere that you're pretty comfortable and familiar with. And so here I am. And to be honest with you, I never really get tired of shooting at this location. And I guess the fact that I'm using this different methodology tonight, I'm hoping that the images I get from here will look a little bit different to the last collection that I may have shot here. So anyway, I'm going to start with the 50mm lens. So first things first, when I'm shooting with a longer focal length lens, I've got to get a long way further back. And that's another reason I chose this location, because there is a bit of ambient light from this mine or something way over there that shines just a little bit of light over here, but it's not bright enough to light the sky up. So that works perfectly for this location. Anyway, I'm going to walk back over that way a little bit, set up the 50mm and just see what sort of a composition I can get. And if that works out, I might try the 85, but that's going to be really pushing it because this is a pretty big structure. All I can see is trucks on the highway. What a great time to be alive, I tell you. All right, let's get into this and I'll come back to you in a minute. Okay, so here I am. I'm probably about 120, 150 meters away from this. It's a big structure. This is harder than I thought because it's really hard to get it in, and this is just at 50mm, but I've been shooting off quite a few frames here. Some I've captured the whole structure, some I've moved a bit closer just to get portions of the structure. So what I'm doing now here is I'm shooting my foregrounds first, and so then I'm going to shoot my tracked sky. Now the reason for that is because I'm establishing the position of where the background Milky Way is in relation to the foreground. So I can see that in my still shots here. And I'm extending my shutter speed out a little bit because I want to make sure I get enough signal. So I'm shooting this at about 20, 25, sometimes 30 seconds. A couple of those shots I'm just going to put a bit of light painting into, the ones I can get a bit closer, just to give it a bit more exposure. But all in all, they're okay. Now, of course, when I'm shooting it at a long focal length, like 50 millimeters, I've got to be very careful of my focal plane. Now, with the wide angle lenses, you know, 14, 16, 20 mil, you can get pretty close at infinity focus and it's not a problem. But when you start shooting at 50 mil or especially 85, you've got to get a long way back to get everything in focus. So anyway, that's what I'm working on here at the moment. So I'll just continue doing that. And yeah, I'll try a few other things and I'll get back to you later. Alrighty, well, I think I've got this now. Beautiful sky still, nice and calm. So I think what I'll do now is I'll head back to the car. I'm just going to go down the track a little bit and do my tracked sky shots. And then I'm going to see how that all comes up. And I'll do a bit of an assessment whether I need to shoot some more foreground subjects, but I might have to leave that for a different night. But we'll have a chat about that a bit later on. So it's right about now that I wish I'd brought some more food with me. I had a cuppa before I left home and something to eat, and so I didn't bother bringing my thermos, and I tell you what, oh man, I could do with it now. It's late, I've been out here longer than I expected, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I've got to keep moving. Oh man, I can't whinge too much. I'll get a complex about it, but anyway, I'm going to do the tracking. And then I'll hit the road. I'm going home after that because I'm exhausted. Anyway, let's get into that. So as you can see, I've got the tracker set up here. Now I've been shooting for quite a while with the 50mm lens and the 80mm lens, currently 80mm. And yeah, look, it's getting very, very late and I'm getting pretty cold. So I'm going to call it quits very, very shortly. So in a nutshell, what I was doing tonight essentially was shooting with longer focal length lenses, but I was also doing what is known as focal length blending. And so that means I'm mixing up focal length. So I'm doing foregrounds in 20mm sometimes and the background tracked sky at 50 or perhaps 85. Now, I'll show you the images that I took here tonight, but I'll also show you some that I've shot in the past as well. And I just want to give you an idea because, you know, sometimes we have to express our creativity in whatever way that we can and feel to. And this nightscape photography is a very technical genre of photography, and sometimes we just get so bogged down in all the technicalities and the gear and the equipment, and we lose sight of the ability to create something really unique and special. And so look, this is not about what you should do or what you shouldn't do. This is just about expressing your creativity using the tools that we have at our disposal. So anyway, I'll leave you with that. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll show you all of the images that I've shot tonight, plus a few extras from times gone by. But anyway, have a great week. I'll see you in the next video.